Back home after Cincy CX, the King CX course delivered an awesome weekend. We had a dry day Saturday and a mud day on Sunday. We finished up with the final C1 in the US, the US CX series, and that was the last of a 6-weekend straight block of racing for me. So I'm back home, back in the shed. Yeah, here to bring you the Saturday C1 race recap. So first things first, how about that sweet white Pan Am kit from Allele? It's actually from 2 years ago, but I haven't worn it yet this year just because I haven't worn a long sleeve skin suit yet this year. C1 day, I was really looking forward to this day. I wanted to get a win super bad. As I said, it's the last C1 in the US, so my last chance to get a C1 win really. After finishing up the Cyclocross Stage Race of America last weekend with 3 days of jingle, I was pretty chill all week. Did some openers on Thursday, got to the venue on Friday, checked out the course in the mist and the rain. It was really slick, and then by Saturday, by the time we raced, I started on files. So the start went really well. I didn't hole shot, but I got up there far enough. I think I was sitting like third or fourth wheel, and that was good for me. It didn't take long for about 6 of us to kind of form a front group. It was myself, Eric Brunner, Curtis White, Tobin, Andrew Strohmeyer, and Brennan Fix. Brennan did a lot of the pacemaking early, first 2 laps or so, and I was stoked with that because he kept the dudes in the back from getting comfortable. There was no washing machine effect. It was fast enough that we were just cruising the whole first 2 laps. And that was important because this course was really tight and turny. It would have these really tight turny places, and then it would open up and kind of string out and then tighten back up again. So a lot of accordion effect here. Once Brennan pulled off, this really interesting thing happened. Quite like Trek, where rain came down. I started on files, and this really fine mist came down for about a lap and a half, 2 laps, and it just made the course so slick. 2 laps in, Brunner pits for something more aggressive. I'm on files. Curtis and I go past the first pit, gap Brunner. It's immediately clear that we need to pit at pit 2 because it is just super slick. We're going through the middle of the track. Curtis eats it on one of the sections. I pass him and I'm like, hey man, just chill, smooth as fast kind of thing. As soon as I passed him in the next corner, I hit the deck. So it was just chaos. We hit the camel hump and then pitted. I pitted for a mid tire, but the mist was still coming down even on that 3rd lap. At this point, the gaps in our group of 6 had opened pretty significantly. Brunner caught back up to Curtis and I, and then it was our group of 3 for the rest of the race. I think on lap 3 or 4, I came in again and switched out to an even more aggressive tire, just to be sure. And with about 3 or 4 laps to go, Brunner and I started shedding Curtis from the lead group. Brunner was riding the longer power sections really strong, and I had to really pay attention to my wheel, my gaps as we would approach sections like the start-finish line, the pavement section across the lake on the backside, because if I left any bit of a gap open, he would hit it really hard and hold it that whole time. So I would have to surge to either get his wheel or just dangle and wait for that next kind of tight section. That's kind of how the groups were getting split. Just this big accordion effect all day. So we were together coming into 1 lap to go. I knew that something special had to happen. I wasn't really sure what that was going to be yet. I knew that I had to lead it into the start-finish straight because, like I said, Brunner was riding the power sections really strong. So I knew I probably wasn't going to come around him. So I took over the lead right out of pit 2, thinking that I could keep the pace high enough to hold him off until the tighter sections. We hit the bike path by the lake, brought it back on an off camber, and he surged past me. So this was all within probably the last 2.5 minutes of the lap. We came into the final camel hump section, and I kept riding wide and inside, looking for openings in his corners where I could chop him. So we hit the final camel section, came into the barriers, and I knew that to ride the barriers you had to swing super wide so you could line it up straight and hit the barriers straight. He swung wide and I sprinted up on his inside. I thought I'd have enough time to kind of jumped the barriers as well, so I did not get my rear wheel up fast enough. I was pretty gassed. It was kind of a Hail Mary effort. I went over the bars, Brunner took it in for the win, and I dusted myself off for second place. I think looking back, maybe I could have tried to run it. Maybe I could have, chopped him and then ran the barriers, tried to slow him down some, but Brunner was riding really strong and he rode a great race. He knew that I was coming for him at the end, and yeah, he was able to hold me off. Tough way to finish that, second place in the C2, being so close to the win, but that's racing. You can't win them all. But we did have lots of donuts.
Donuts, Kerry.
Oh my God.
Legend. He's a legend.
Sunday, which is what we're going to pick up with next, the C2 day at King CX. Thanks for watching.